President Abeyo was kind enough to give me a few files to peruse. Quite the series of accomplishments you've managed. But now you face a foe unlike any other. An invisible enemy, lurking in the shadows. You're going to need all the help you can get, which is why I hoped we could speak. Do you know who I am? Perceptive. I like that. I'm Francois Sanon, but most know me as Victus. I was an admiral during the Colony War. One of its great villains, if you believe the slates. I was to be executed for my crimes, but the previous regime deemed me too valuable to simply discard. So they put me here, a sacrifice on the altar of peace. Even my death served the colonies. Very astute. That's my daughter. My progeny. You've been working alongside. Has she shared with you the nature of our little family? Won't even indulge an old man's curiosities. So be it. After some long years earning the trust of this current regime, the UC has been permitting me to work alongside one of their recovery teams, helping them gather intelligence on, locate, and organize scenarios to lure in some of the criminals that evaded justice after the Colony War. With quite a few successes, I might add. But in the process, I managed to find something else. The names and locations of Hadrian and Percival's old research team. Valuable manpower for the effort you're about to embark on. I'll tell you where they are, but in exchange, I need something dealt with. Well, who better to find them? But many of them I knew personally, and I've always had a mind for details. Where someone was born, next of kin. You'd be shocked how often an otherwise brilliant criminal flees to the planet just next to the one where they were born, or where a family member resides. I simply use my own personal knowledge and the information our group collects for me to track them down and set things right. There is a former colleague of mine, a man by the name of Dr. Reginald Orlaise. Like myself and Hadrian, he was involved in some of the United Colony's more problematic lines of research. Mech weapons were his specialty. If it dealt death, he could make a deal more. When the Colony War ended, he fled, refusing to face tribunal, and has continued to peddle his skills to the highest bidder to this day. But I finally found him. I want you to track him down and deal with him, however you're able. I'm not expecting he'll come quietly. Bring me evidence that the job's done, and I'll tell you what I know. Captain, your files indicate a track record of unlikely successes. It is my genuine hope that, perhaps down the line, you might become a part of our team. And this might be something of a tryout. Speak to Deputy McIntyre. I'm sure she'd be happy to hear that someone might be tying up this loose end at long last. Though I would ask you, do not make the mistake of confusing me for a simple cutthroat. Good. According to my information, he's been hiding around the world of Etheria. Wolf system. There's a star station in the vicinity. The Den. The head of the local vanguard, one Captain Marquez, should be able to help you find our man.
Captain, did your meeting go well? I hope it's clear now why we needed you to agree to all the secrecy. Exactly. Just another prisoner. Nothing you'd ever even think of bringing up in conversation. With anyone. Ever. We understand each other? The Major doesn't have clearance for this sort of information, and she certainly doesn't need a distraction from her current, very important work. Which is why I need you to keep this to yourself. Good. Because bringing this up to the outside world would create the unfair appearance, Captain, that you're unhinged. And that's not a good look for any of us. Now, was there something in particular you needed to discuss about what we were just discussing? Dr. Reginald Orlaise? He's finally found him. Of course, killing Orlaise is completely out of the question, but bringing him to justice... He's been on the lam for years. That'd be a huge win for the UC. What's being offered in return? Really? He found the members of the research team. We'd already initiated a search for them, but it'd save a lot of time and manpower if he just gave us that information. Captain, if that's the deal, you have my endorsement. Just so long as you make every effort to bring the man in alive. Now, was there anything else you wanted to discuss regarding your meeting? The Den? It's a star station. Orbiting Wolf, the second star station actually to bear that title. The first one was blown to smithereens by House Varun during the Serpent's Crusade. The place has always acted as a remote strategic hub, primarily for repairing and refueling UC military vessels. But because of its distance from the rest of the UC, things there have always been a little more lax. Patrols included. I can think of worse places in the galaxy for a criminal to hide out. Trusting the man downstairs would be a mistake, but I don't think you need to be too concerned. This is far from the first name he's handed over, and all previous missions went off largely without a hitch. So while I'd certainly warrant caution, I think you can proceed. Then I'll bid you good day, Captain, and remind you of the importance of discretion.
For you.
Hard to believe this place is still intact, but the military is nothing if not resilient.
Looking to lodge a complaint? Then you want UC security, not the Vanguard.
Let's talk. Just us and...
You're here for me? Did I miss a briefing or something? Think you got some bad information. If there was a wanted man in our skies, he wouldn't still be out there. Unless... Are you talking about the Warlock? There's been rumor of a ship out there for years now. Doesn't respond to hails, never docks. More than a few amateur investigators have tried to find it, and at least 2 never came back. Aetheria's debris fields are plenty dangerous if you're not used to flying in them. But if you're suggesting it might not have been the fields that got them, well, I can give you the coordinates of the Warlock's last sighting. Well, the original Den Star Station was destroyed decades ago during the Serpent's Crusade by marauding House Varun zealots. Big part of the remains from those battles ended up gathering around Aetheria, forming a nasty debris field. Every now and then, some headstrong scrapper comes limping back because they hit an 80-year-old mine. Or sometimes they don't come back at all. Though, maybe it's not just the field that's been picking them off. I mean, I honestly thought it was just a story board haulers told to amuse each other. But if the pilot of the Warlock really has been dusting our people, well, hopefully you're about to make our skies a whole lot safer. Things you should know? The den's not really that kind of place. This is a quiet assignment. Keep an eye out for pirates, make sure smuggling's kept to a minimum, occasional rescue job out in the debris fields. Otherwise, it's mostly long haulers and staying ready for the day the Collective wants another round, or House Varun comes back in force. Sure thing. Here, this should get you pointed in the right direction. Good hunting, and stay safe.
Well, let's talk. When you have time, of course. I have something for you.
Welcome back, Captain. Do you have some news for me regarding Dr. Olays? I'm not surprised. The man fled every consequence he ever faced. Of course, you don't expect me to just take you at your word, do you? Excellent. Please, deposit it in the transfer system.
Transfer accepted.
Would you look at that? Kept it all these years. Some simply couldn't let go of that old world. This is fine work, Captain. I can ensure the remaining team members find their way to the Red Devil's headquarters. Except for one. That one you'll need to collect yourself. His name is Kaiser. You can find him on the Freestar world of Nira, wandering the battlefield there. The area was ground zero for xeno-weapon deployments during the war, so I would arm yourself appropriately. And I think you'll want to check in with Hadrian and Dr. Walker before paying it a visit. Kaiser will likely have security protocols you'll need their help to overcome. A military Model A, yes. Specifically customized for the needs of the Xeno warfare team during the Colony War. A powerful resource, if you can recover him. I dedicated my life to the United Colonies. Every effort of my being to their protection. I even gave them my heirs. Even if my circumstances have changed, my purpose has not. Of course, we're protecting the galaxy, Captain. We'll need every tool at our disposal.
So Ellie contacted me about the case. Same. I was beginning to get worried since we hadn't heard from her. But that's interstellar communication for you. Anyway, we have a verdict. Irvin's record will be expunged on account of his death occurring before the trial ended. It's a technical victory, but we'll take it. We can't change the system that made this happen, but I'm glad we tried. Relieved. This was always in the back of my mind. Always there when I fell asleep and when I woke up. And I would mask it as much as I could. Hide the sorrow with my wit, hide the anxiety with my charm. The grief will always be there. But it's something I feel I can move past now. Ha! Too much investigation work for you, huh? Not all adventures involve shooting pirates and evading meteor fields. But I appreciate the backup nevertheless. Okay, now, there's also the little matter of the settlement. I divided it into equal portions for me, you, Ellie, and expenses. Here's your share. And I sold the apartment. So here's the bonus from that after taxes. I gave my portion to Ellie so she could fund other cases. So there it is. I guess it's over. We knew we couldn't fix the whole system. I'm just glad we could do what we did. I wish we could have helped more people ruined by Hephaestus. But that isn't our fight. There it is. I guess I needed to actually hear someone say it. Case closed. Whew. Finally. It's not lost on me that you've encouraged me to pursue this investigation from the beginning, you know. I appreciate your support more than you can imagine. Thanks, Captain. I'm glad you haven't changed your mind on working with others after all this. A long time ago, you talked about valuing teamwork. You really meant it. Don't tell the others. But I was having a hard time focusing because of all this trial stuff. So thank you for helping with that. It's funny how that makes perfect sense. And yet we're still shocked when it does. I used to tell myself, get over it.